Wow, these colors are pretty bold and in your face. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is vlog number 99 for December the 24th, 2018. And Merry Christmas to everybody. And tomorrow's the big day, and I may be interrupted partway through this vlog today because I've got a couple of things upstairs in the oven in preparation for tomorrow, because Walter and I are hosting Christmas dinner this year at our place. He worked hard yesterday. He got the turkey all ready, and the bird is juicy. So that's all done, and he also made the dressing or stuffing, whichever thing you want to call it. We don't put it in the bird, you know, because of health reasons for that. So I guess if you don't put it in the bird, it's not stuffing, it's dressing. Whatever you call it. Anyways, he got that made yesterday, and last night he made creme brulee, which is one of his specialties. He makes it from scratch. It's not from a mix or anything like that. He does the eggs, he does the cream, the whole bit, and he does it in the sous vide. And the sous vide does a really good job of creme brulee. So, and he's got these little jars. They're little mason jars, just tiny little ones. And that's what he does them in, and that's what you serve them out of as well. So it's all kind of like one pot cooking. So I've got a ton of other things I got to get done today as well. But I've got to do my vlog. So anyways, here we go. So you can see behind me, and you saw in the teaser, my modern quilt. It's all done. I did show it, I think, a week ago on Stephen and Walter Live, but I'm really proud of this. This turned out better than I was expecting. I did a perfect binding this time. I think this is the first quilt where I actually got nice mitered corners, and I think I have finally been successful in figuring out how to join the ends of the bindings together. I did it on the first try this time. Usually I rip it out about 3 times before I get it right. So all went well with this one. Now I've already started on another quilt. It's made up of a whole bunch of different scraps. It's my own design. I almost got the quilt top done yesterday. I started it on Saturday. Worked pretty much most of the day yesterday on it while Walter was cooking. And then I discovered when I had finished it, some of my blocks are not lining up properly. So I'm debating whether I'm going to rip that out and fix that, or if I'm going to leave it, because the way I've designed this, it's kind of a wacky looking quilt. I don't know, I might just leave the blocks as they are. I'll see. Anyways, it's going to be a quilt that I can also practice maybe some free motion quilting on as well, and not worry too much about screwing it up, because it is made out of scraps after all. So I just enjoy the process of making them. So moving on, Sydney bag is done. If you came to Walter and Stephen Live yesterday, you saw this. I'm going to spend a little bit more time showing you this, because this too I am very proud of. This was a rough bag to do. I may have bitten off a little bit more than I could chew, but I had an excellent instructor. She was very, very patient with me, I can tell you that, and gave me a lot of individual attention, but I got it done. Now it's made out of denim, and as you can see, there's a lot of pockets in it. It has 2 cargo pockets on the front with magnetic snaps, and on the back side there's another pocket that has a bit of a division in it, and right here on the front again is another zippered pocket. There's a lot of zippers in this bag, 3 to be exact, and the inside is all lined. That's Tim Holtz fabric, by the way, so a little bit of the blending of 2 worlds for me. And then it's got a zipper on the top, and again you can see it's all lined on the inside. I'm getting a little bit of a shadow there, but there's another pocket inside here. Let me just unzip that, a zippered pocket, and again it is also lined. So it's a fairly compact bag, but there seems to be lots of room with it, and I think I will try it out and use it as my carry-on the airplane. I don't take a big carry-on bag with me when I get on an airplane, because I don't want to have to lug something like that. And yes, you have to pay extra for luggage, but one of the things that really bugs me is the fact that people get on the plane and their carry-on is not a carry-on, it's a small suitcase. And they're ramming it in those overheads, and nobody can get any of their stuff in there because they take up so much space. And I'm really surprised at the airlines. If they're charging for bag checkage, I think they ought to charge for anything that's bigger than this as a carry-on. This will fit under the seat, which is what I always do, because then I don't have to get up. If I need to get something out of this, I usually have my electronics in this. If I have to get up out of my seat to reach in the overhead, well, you know what that's like. Things fall out, things are crowded in. It's just, you know, there's not a lot of space on an airplane. So if I can put this under the seat, which I do, in front of me, no problem. I don't have to get up, I don't have to bother anybody, don't have to step over anybody, pull out my bag, and I've got it. It's made of denim. I don't think I'll ever work with denim again. It has brass hardware on it. It's an adjustable strap. And it's pretty well built as well, the stitching and everything that's in this. Problem with denim and using denim thread is, the sewing machine had a bit of a problem getting through some of the layers of this, because there's quite a few layers in some parts of this bag. For example, on this handle here, on this, there are 6 layers of denim that you had to go through. And I had to pretty much do it by just turning the hand wheel. Otherwise, I'd break my needle. And I have a good sewing machine, as you know. So that's one of the trials and tribulations of working with denim. I don't think I want to attempt that again. But I made it out of denim because I wanted something sturdy. I wanted something masculine. And a lot of the people in the class were making them out of Quilter's cotton. And one lady, she made 2 of them, and beautiful, beautiful bags when she was finished. But I forgot about the fact there's interfacing and stuff in that. And when you start putting all the layers together, it gets very, very sturdy, even with Quilter's cotton. So I could have maybe avoided some of the pitfalls I had with this if I had picked Quilter's cotton instead of denim. But it's done. I'm pleased with it. And yeah, will I make another one? Probably not. Okay, let me throw that in the floor. All right. What else have I been working on? Okay, so I decided, and after I'm finished the vlog today, I've got to get going on this. I have to set up my table. Now, we're having Christmas dinner down in our rec room because that's the room that's decorated. That's where I have a couple of fridges down in my rec room area as well. It's where I keep the appetizers and the other food. It's just a whole lot easier to do everything on one floor. Now, one problem is, after everybody leaves and we have to clean up, we're up and down stairs. And I can tell you, the next day my back is usually sore. I need some water. Going into the 4th week, no coffee. I miss the coffee, sort of, but I don't miss the heartburn associated with it, so it's a trade-off. Anyways, I decided that I don't really have a table runner long enough for the table I'm setting up. I actually have my mother's dining room table, and it comes with 6 chairs, but it's a dining room table because my mother, in the house I grew up in, it never had really a formal dining room. We used the living room on special occasions. So my mother, years after we moved into the house, decided she wanted a proper dining room table, but she didn't have the room to set it up fully. So the one that she got actually collapses. It has about 3 leaves in it. You take those all out. Part of it flips over and you can put it up against a wall. And it's maybe about this wide up against a wall. And so I have it now. It's in my rec room. I found a place for it. I'm still not happy with where I've got all the chairs for it because I didn't have a lot of room for the chairs. But I'm getting used to where they're put away at now. So I'm going to pull that out and tablecloths. I'm going to do it up, and I usually do. I like setting tables. I really do. It's something, since my first Christmas I can ever remember as a kid, I was 3 years old, and I asked for a table and chairs and a play tea set, little dishes and things like that. And there is a picture somewhere of me, 3 years old, in my jammies in my little bathrobe on Christmas Day, pouring tea at my little table and chairs that Santa brought me, and my tea service. And I think it was from that day on that I've always had a fascination with setting a nice table. And my mother was very particular about setting a table as well, and made sure that all of her children knew where the silverware went, the order, glasses, the whole bit. So, you know, We don't have a lot of people over for dinner a lot anymore. We used to quite a bit, but as the years have gone by, that's kind of died out a bit. So on this occasion, I'm going to dress it up and make it look nice. So I needed a table runner, but this is going to be a long table. So I got out my Christmas scraps and I created a table runner. Now this table runner is about 80 inches long. It was pretty fast because I did it all in 2.5-inch strips. And see, it's still long. And it is quilted. And it's just a simple wavy line walking foot quilting. It's hard to see in here. I did it in a variegated red and green thread, so it's kind of subtle. But this will serve the purpose for the table. And I think it'll look quite nice. Okay. And what else? Oh, and speaking of things that are made and given to people, I got a surprise in the mail. Mike Deacon, and everybody knows who Mike Deacon is, sent me a Christmas card for Walter and myself. And it is not one of the ones that he makes, but that's okay. It just says, Stephen and Walter wishing you both a very Merry Christmas, Happy 2019, Mike and Ian and Mr. Bentley. That's their dog. So I was thrilled to get this from Mike. So I wrote to him and thanked him for it. I didn't send him a card. Didn't think about it. Well, I don't send out Christmas cards for one thing. But I just thought this was a really nice surprise. So thanks, Mike, if you're watching this. I really appreciated it. Made me feel special. Honestly. Okay, so that takes us to the YouTube channel of the week. This is a really interesting website, or YouTube channel, that is, because it has nothing to do with crafting, has nothing to do with quilting or anything like that. It has to do with quirky, psycho, spiritual, ghost kind of things. So take a look at this. This week's YouTube channel has a very unusual name. It's called SlapHam. Countdowns, lists, and facts about everything. This is a very entertaining site because the person who puts this up looks for some very bizarre things. For example, he looks at paranormal, weird pictures, the supernatural, alien spotting, all kinds of really weird and creepy, in a lot of cases, very creepy things. So this has nothing to do with quilting. It has nothing to do with crafting. It has everything to do with the bizarre, with entertainment. And things that are strange and weird usually appeal to us for some reason. So if you're the kind of person that likes to see things that are a little bit unusual, a little bit scary at times, and always very thought-provoking, then I suggest you check out SlapHam. So the link for SlapHam is listed below, as are now there are 2 listings for Stephen and Walter Live this week. Yes, we ran into a problem with the freeze up again. Within about 30 minutes of the video, we froze out. So instead of trying to fool around, wait for it to come back up, I just stopped the live broadcast and restart it and let everybody know that we were doing this, so refresh their spot and come back on. And it worked okay when I reconnected live. And so you'll find that Stephen Walter Live is in 2 parts, and it's listed part 1, part 2, and that is why. Also, SlapHam, as I said, I have a new episode of The Idiot Quilter, and in that I talk a little bit more about the modern quilt in a little bit more detail. So if you're interested in seeing that more close up, plus a couple of little Christmas things that I made for our great nieces, that's in episode 35 of The Idiot Quilter. And I'm going to talk about the book today and that I've picked in a few minutes, and it's listed below as well. Now, there is a possibility while I'm doing this, my phone is set, its alarm will go off because I've got stuff in the oven upstairs and I'll need to check it. So I may have to briefly stop the vlog and then come back, but for you that'll only be a second. So just let you know if you hear my alarm go off. Okay, so what's pissing me off this week? All right, lately I've been getting a rash of calls on my cell phone, and they are calls about telling me that there's financial problems. One said that my MasterCard had been compromised, so no, that wasn't the MasterCard, was it? Yeah, it was one of my credit cards or something had been they needed to verify information. You know, well, first of all, credit card companies do not send you a text message. That's what they were, a text message to verify your account. So I ignored that one. I got another one telling me that I had deposited into my bank account $75 and some odd cents from a company called Paul Wilson or something like this. Never heard of it. Said it was a refund. Never ordered anything from that company, and if a company owed me money, I would know. I did click on the link just to see where it was going to take me, because it was supposed to be an e-transfer, and it did take me to the page that shows you all the different kinds of banks, and you know, you can click on your bank. And so I clicked on my bank, and of course it came up and wanted my card number, my access number for my account, and my password. Now it looked legit. These fraud things are getting really good at duplicating the page, but I didn't bother because I knew that this is not true. I have not dealt with whoever this person was or this company or this website, and nobody owed me any money. And so I guess what they're doing is trying to trick people into thinking they're going to get free money. No, nothing is free. So I didn't bother with that. And then I get one, about a day later, I get one telling me that my bank account at one of my banks had been frozen with suspicion of fraudulent kind of stuff, and that I needed to, you know, go into the account. No. The banks here, at least the banks in Canada, tell you they will never contact you about a security problem with your bank account. If you have a problem with your bank account, you will know when you try to get into it, and then the onus is on you to call the bank and find out what the problem is. They do not contact you. So that's just their way of avoiding this fraudulent stuff. But I've had a whole raft of these lately, and I guess it's because of this time of the year, you know, people out there trying to take advantage of people who are Christmas shopping using their credit cards. You know, a lot of money is being spent and that kind of thing, and figuring that your guard will be down and you'll fall for the bait, and then they'll wipe out your bank account. You know, this really pisses me off because I'm thinking, who are all these dishonest people in the world? I'm going to tell you where the dishonest people in the world are. Again, this might sound racist. A lot of these companies, credit card companies, you know, your utility companies, things like that, deal with out-of-the-country places to look after their accounts. You know, you've had the calls where you can hardly understand the person. I know, I want to do things like that. Yeah, no, don't know who you are, don't want to talk to you. And they're based out of India, and a lot of them come from Nigeria, believe it or not. And, you know, I suppose that these people are being paid pennies or whatever. They're trying to get as much money as they possibly can. But, you know, it's sad that they have to resort to criminal activities in order to put food on the table. I mean, I feel sorry for them, but you're not getting my money that way. But what pisses me off is that our government doesn't do anything about them. Neither does our telephone provider either. They try to tell you, at least mine does, that they have all these things built in, you know, to keep you protected from fraudulent calls and things like that. Ironically, the company I deal with, which is Bell Canada, they sell your information to third-party companies. They claim they don't, but they do. How do I know that? Not really sure, but I do. I think of somebody I knew at one point in time worked for them and told them, no, they sell it. So, you know, you're paying big bucks for a service provider. You think you're being protected by that service provider, and they're just selling you down the river like everybody else. I guess the thing is, you got to be vigilant. You got to be careful, okay, for lack of a better word, and look after things on your own. But I really wish our government would do something. I don't know what they can do about this, especially these calls are coming from numbers that you can't call back. One number came up with a V at the beginning of it. I've never seen a number like that. I asked Walter, is that voice over protocol or something? He says, no. He said they used to do voice over protocol where he worked. And he said, no, the number just looks like a regular number. So I don't know why it comes up on my phone showing this number starting with a V. Weird. So I guess the thing is, you have to protect yourself and be very, very careful. And they prey on people who are not very technologically I am having a hard time with my words today. Who are not very technically astute. Okay? Wasn't the word I want to use, but it'll do. And especially older people. You know, like people my mother's age and that kind of thing. It's easy to suck them in. I've warned my mother for many years, Mom, never give out any of your personal information over the phone for whatever reason. You tell them to call me, or you just simply hang up. If they want to get a hold of you and it's something important, they will get a hold of you, but say no. And my mother's pretty good at that. Of course, in the nursing home, she doesn't have to worry so much about it, although she does have her own line. So, you know, the nursing home can't do much about what the calls are that come on over her personal line. But anyways, it pisses me off that people are out there and just trying to rip everybody off. What happened to the world? Have we always been this way? It just seems with technology, a lot more crime has come. So anyways, just be careful. All right, so product review. Well, I did get one new thing, but this won't be much of a thrill for many of you, so I'm not going to dwell on it. It's called You and Your Sewing Machine. It is a field guide. I saw this recommended on a YouTube channel that is a sewing one, and the lady who runs that one I really respect her. I love her YouTube channel, and she recommended this book for anybody, so you get sort of an inside look at how your sewing machine works and how to troubleshoot things. And it's fairly generic, so I started reading it. That's why I've got the little markup here. And it's written in a very clear and understandable way. So I thought it can't hurt to know a little bit about how a sewing machine actually works, and you know what things you can do to fix it yourself. Also, speaking of which, in the Sydney Beg class, I had a little problem. I busted my automatic threader again. That's the second time, and I can't fix it. And I did look up some things in the you know, the sewing machine repair people's version of my machine, of its manual and everything, but I'm going to have that repaired. So I spoke to Shirley at Ultimate Sewing, and she suggested after Christmas. Yes, of course, because things are a little busy right now. And so I think what I'm going to do is we're going to leave in the middle of January for Florida. So we'll be gone only a week, but I think just before we go, I'll drop the machine in, get that fixed, and I want it cleaned and, you know, do some maintenance on it. Now, I haven't had that machine for a year yet, but I'm a heavy-duty user, and it can't hurt. I mean, I keep my machine pretty clean, but might as well, while I'm not using it, that's a good time, so I don't have any downtime from the machine. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so another book though, and this is the book review of the week. I'm sure you have heard of these before, making what they call paper bag books. And there's lots of stuff on the internet about how to do these, and they're a lot of fun, and they're great projects to do with kids as well. And I actually used to use this format with my grade 9s for something that I used to do, and they always loved it. And you just need little lunch bags to make it. But this book I picked up many years ago, and it talks about how to make them and the different things you can do with them. And it's got pictures that show you some decorating ideas and how to add little other fun elements to it. It's a pretty good book. As I said, you probably know all about paper bag books, but if you don't, you might want to look them up on the internet, and you might want to get a book about them as well. Now, thing about this book though, it wasn't easy to find. I don't know how many years I've had this. It's by Brenda, Hollister and Friends, it says. I found it on Amazon.com. I could not find it on Amazon.ca, and they want $20.84 for it. And I'm just looking here to see. Yeah, I have no idea what I paid for this when I got it. It is published by Pinecone Press, but I went to their website just to see if they had them there, and they don't seem to list any of their books. Unless I was looking in the wrong place, but I kind of hunted high and low and couldn't find anything. They had kits and things like that, but nothing about their books. So I don't know if they're even publishing this anymore. But if you're interested in it, it's $20, Amazon.com, and I've got the link listed below. So that takes me to inspiration. Well, it's not really inspiration, it's what not to do. My local scrapbooking store is decided it's going to have a crop. Its first crop that it's ever had off-site, meaning not in the store. And that's in May. It's on the first weekend in May, and that's International Scrapbookers Weekend or Day. Oops, I'll be right back. And I'm back. That was just my oven going off. My potatoes are done. Now I'm just got another 20 minutes or so on my roasted turnip. So anyways, so what I was saying was, for inspiration this week, I was thinking about what I might do at this particular crop, because I don't do scrapbooking anymore. I can do some mixed media stuff and things like that, but I was thinking, and I've been thinking about this for a while, how can I combine my love of sewing with my love of mixed media? And I thought about journal making, and I thought, well, I could use my scrap material to create pages for a journal. So this is what I did as a prototype. Okay, has potential, but there are so many problems with it, and it's like, this is bad. This is really bad. I even tried like sewing in just a placement card. I tried to do some embroidery, like words on it and things like that. There's a lot of problems with doing this, and if I sat and thought a little bit more about it, I'm sure I could make this work a little bit better. But you want to know something? I don't think I want to. So I think at that crop, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do mixed media stuff. I'm not going to worry about taking my sewing machine and doing stuff like that. Had thought taking my sewing machine working on a quilt. But I think I'll just work on mixed media stuff. And I may make a journal, but I'll make a journal in the more traditional paper craft kind of way than trying to do something with material. Here's another one that I tried playing around with. Looks like a wallet, but it's not. Yeah, it does have potential, but I don't know if it's worth it. I really don't. So my inspiration is this. I don't know. I don't have any inspiration for it. But I thought I'd give it a try. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And that takes us to what's in my drawers this week. Nothing. Well, there's more stuff. There's always more stuff. It's just that I've been busy this week and I didn't do a video about it. And to be honest, I couldn't think of anything that I really wanted to do. So I'll have to give that a bit of a thought. I might be getting to the bottom of my drawers with that episode. So I may forego that in the new year. I don't know. I'll wait and see. I'm trying to think of some other things I could do, you know, to spice up things around here. You know, it's the same old, same old. And I appreciate your support, but, you know, I got to keep you interested. So see what other things I can come up with for the new year. Okay, so nothing in my drawers this week. That takes us to events in the past week. I need a little bit more water. Sorry if you could hear me swallowing because the microphone's right down here. Okay, update of my mother. She's doing fine. I talked yesterday a little bit about it on Stephen and Walter Live. I don't want to belittle it anymore because, once again, bore you to tears. But she's doing okay, and they had a little Christmas event over on Thursday night at the nursing home. And Walter and I and my sister and her husband and my niece, we were all there. And it was a nice little time that they had for an hour and a half. They had entertainment. This couple had guitars and that and sang a lot of Christmas songs and things. They played a few games and they had food, lots of food. And I've got to say, this place my mother's in, the staff couldn't be any better. They really care, genuinely care about their residents, and they treat them like family. Actually, they probably treat them better than family. So we were all very impressed with what they had done. Like, we figured we'll get in there, they'll sing a couple of Christmas carols and give everybody a cookie. Well, no, it was a lot more than that. So we're off to see my mother today, this afternoon. That's why I'm madly trying to get everything I need to get done this morning. And I've got a little gift for her, and I talked about that last week, and spent a little time with her because we won't be with her tomorrow on Christmas Day. But they've got Santa coming around on Christmas Day for them, and they've got some things planned as well. So, I mean, she's not going to be bored if she doesn't want to be bored. And to be honest, this will be the first year unless it was a year that we've gone away, that we haven't been with my mother on Christmas Day. Now this sounds rather crass, but am I sad about that? No, I'm not, because in the last few years, it has just been a major work to keep her entertained, get her in here, physically get her here, and get her situated, and get her fed, and everything like that. And you know, as it is, you know what it's like when you entertain. If you're hosting Christmas dinner, you know that on Christmas Day when you're doing that, you're worn out by the end of the day. And I'm not getting any younger, so you know, yeah, but she'll be fine. It'll be nice to be able to have some time with my sister and with Walter's family and the whole bit, and not have to worry about the welfare of my mother, really. So yeah, I know it sounds a little selfish, and I feel a little bad about that, but I do know she's being looked after, as I said. Okay. Went to the doctor. Walter and I both did. We had an appointment the other day. And you know that I was a little concerned, or the doctor was concerned. She thought she'd heard a heart murmur, and that was 3 months ago. And I went and had an ultrasound, or whatever they call it. And I never got a phone call saying, you know, you're going to die tomorrow or anything like that. So I assumed everything was pretty good. So she's very thorough, this doctor. And I'm a new patient for her because Walter's been seeing her for years, but my other doctor retired, and so she graciously, she isn't taking new clients on, but because Walter's my spouse, she took me on, which was really nice of her. But she's very thorough, very different from my other doctor that I had for about 40 years. So she went over my charts and stuff and my blood work, and everything was fine there. My blood work, my urinology, all that stuff, my liver, everything's fine. My cholesterol is good. I am on medication for that, have been on for years, but it's down within the acceptable level, and that's good. And but she is concerned about, one, my blood pressure. Now I knew she was, because she wanted me to monitor it for the last 3 months, and I have been faithfully, and I know my blood pressure is elevated. I don't know if it's a major elevation or not, but it's elevated. And I was pretty much prepared for the fact that she was probably going to put me on blood pressure pills, and she did. They have a whole list of side effects, but so far so good. Of course, I've only been taking it now. My first day was yesterday, and this is my second day. And right now I'm taking one of these little tiny white pills daily. Next week, a week from now, I'm supposed to double that dosage. I guess it must be getting my system used to it. I'm still monitoring my blood pressure. We'll see what effect this has on me. I mean, both my parents are on blood pressure pills. Walter's on them. She said basically it is hereditary. So, you know, I guess it was inevitable at my age. Whatever. It's just I'm not a pill popper, so... But, you know, what's the choice? Either that or bypass surgery someday. Of course, she was very reassuring about this medication too, and she says, oh yeah, and this one's really good for preventing strokes as well. Okay, and while on top of all that, then she looks at my ultrasound. She goes, yeah, she said, well, you might have a slightly leaky valve, but nothing really you have to worry about. We don't need to do any kind of heart surgery or anything. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you for that. All right. So I don't know if having a heart murmur would have been a better thing or having a leaky valve. I don't know. I said to her when she looked at my little chart I kept about my blood work or my blood pressure, that I also have my pulse on there, and my pulse is kind of high. But I said to her, my pulse has always been high. I always run it up, you know, 102, 103 beats per minute or whatever it is. And I said to her, so what's the acceptable range level? She says anywhere between 60 and 88. Okay. And what's the ideal blood pressure? 135 over 88. Well, I'm about 142 over 98 sometimes, and then sometimes I'm 126 over 90. It's erratic. It's erratic. So I don't know. So hopefully this medication will stabilize me. I mean, to be honest, knock wood, I've never had any problems with my blood pressure, like making me faint or pass out or whatever. But, you know, she's very thorough, so let her do her job. That's what she gets paid the big bucks for. And then, of course, she wants to talk about diet. She asked me about coffee. Funny, I hadn't told her I'd stopped drinking coffee 3 weeks ago. But when I told her that, she seemed to be very happy. Of course, I don't smoke. And then she was talking about salt. And yes, I know. And I said to her, I don't put salt on anything except French fries. And I don't eat French fries a lot. Now, Walter adds salt to things. And he shouldn't do that, but he does anyways. Even when I cook, I do not add any extra salt. And of course, she's going on, well, do you eat out a lot? Well, yes, lately, the last little while with my mother in the nursing home and in the hospital before that, yeah, we were doing lunches out and things more so than we used to. And I know we're not eating properly. We're not getting enough vegetables and fruits, for one thing. We're eating stuff that's quick, and yes, we've been eating a lot of pre-prepared foods, and I know those are loaded with sodium and the whole bit. So I said to Walter, okay, we need to get a grip, and I have a whole pile of cookbooks on vegetarian dishes, low-cal, low-fat, all this, because many, many, many years ago, when I first got diagnosed with a cholesterol problem, I tried to cure myself by just being sensible about what I was eating. And I needed to lose some weight, and it worked and all of that, but then eventually I did have to have the medication for the cholesterol. So I think we're going to need to revisit these cookbooks because we've gotten lazy with our cooking habits. You know, if it's quick, we eat it. We don't even sit down at the kitchen table anymore. We sit up on the kitchen counter. We have one of those counters where you can do that, but that's not good. We have to be more conscious about that, what we're eating. So, and we could both stand to lose some weight. There's no two ways about that as well. So the doctor said what the doctor does. Cut out salt, cut out caffeine, cut back on your drinking. Well, she didn't say that, but I know she was thinking it. Lose some weight, get more exercise. Ask me about my sleeping patterns, which have been erratic lately, but I put that down too, and I told her this and explained it to her, the stress with my mother and everything. She recommended taking melatonin to help me sleep. Well, I tried that before and it didn't do really much for me. Actually, one thing that helps a lot is those special little gummy bears that I've talked about before. They help quite a bit, and they're tasty. But anyways, so yeah, I guess it's just I'm at that age where, you know, you got to start taking your health a little bit more seriously, I guess. Okay, and the other thing, oh, I'm still missing my points from my card, as I explained last week. Haven't had any word from them. I sent them another email. I'm giving them till after Christmas because, you know, it's Christmas kind of thing. But after that, I'm going to be hounding them like crazy. I want my bloody points back. And yeah, what else? Oh, yeah, it was our 35th anniversary of Walter and I being together. We've been together for 35 years. We've been married for 13 legally, but we've been together for 35, and we consider December 21st our official anniversary. That's more important to us than our wedding anniversary, which is in July. Mainly because the one in July was basically to make things legal, because we could, and it was payback to all the straight people's weddings we'd been to over the years. It was time for them to give us a gift. Okay, whatever. So they did. We asked for gift certificates for Home Depot because we wanted to put in a hardwood floor. And they came through with it, and we have hardwood floor. That was 13 years ago. So anyways, we've been together for 35 years, and we did a little Q&A yesterday on Stephen and Walter Live about how we met and things like that. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, if you're nosy and want to pry into our personal life, whatever, check out Stephen and Walter Live yesterday. I think that was in the second half, part 2. So yeah, 35 years. And they say the first 50 are the hardest. So anyways, so what's coming up? Well, of course, tomorrow's the big day, Christmas dinner, all that stuff, and then it's over with. I think we're having lunch here at our place with a couple of the guys that were in my embroidery class. They contacted us yesterday, and One of them is Luch, and Luch is, if you were on yesterday for Stephen Walter Live, you may have seen him popping in on that. We don't know them very well, just from class, and so this will be nice. We don't have a lot of friends in the gay world. Yeah, we don't have a lot of friends in the straight world either, for that matter. Don't know what that says about us. But anyways, but it's always nice to connect with other people of like minds and whatever. And these two guys were a lot of fun in the class, and so I'm looking forward to seeing them in a more social environment. So yeah, that's coming up this week. And then next week, on New Year's Eve, we actually have tickets for New Year's Eve this year. Now, the last few years, well, of course, there was the one year we were in Australia and did New Year's Eve at the Opera House, which was fantastic. And I don't know what we did last year. Don't think we did anything. Most years we don't do a heck of a lot on New Year's Eve. So we've decided, our local club, it's a gay club, which we haven't darkened the doors of in probably over 10 years. They're having a New Year's Eve event, so we decided, what the heck, let's get tickets, let's go. And so we are. And we're going to take a cab that night down to where this club is. It's going to cost us an arm and a leg because we live quite a ways away from where the club is, and you know what taxis are like. But we don't drink and drive. And so we'll, for the sake of, you know, being, you know, well, what do you want to say? To be safe, basically, and keep other people safe, we're taking a cab both ways. So, kind of looking forward to that. Not sure what I'm going to wear. I know some of the guys will go there and they'll get dressed up in suits, and some will be in tuxes, and others will be just in a pair of jeans, and I'll probably be one of the others because my wardrobe consists of mainly black jeans. I wear black jeans for everything. So I'll probably wear a nice shirt, and I did buy a new pair of black jeans, so, and I haven't worn them yet, so I'll be breaking them in then. I guess that's a throw over. I used to be a real clothes horse kind of a thing. And when I was teaching, I always had to be dressed professionally. And it just got to the point where once I retired, the heck with that. I can't be bothered anymore. I mean, look neat, look respectable, but I have not worn a tie and a jacket in years. I didn't even wear them for many years when I was teaching either, once we got over the dress code thing that we used to have. And I don't even have a jacket that would fit me. And I don't even have a tie that's modern. The ties I have in my closet, I was thinking of making them into a quilt. That's how old they are. And I don't even have a suit. If I needed a suit for anything, I'd have to go out and buy one, because I'm sure the suit I've got in the closet, which is the suit that I wore when we got married 13 years ago, I'm pretty sure that sucker's not fitting anymore. Yeah. Again, what can I say? It's my age. Okay, so yeah, that's what's coming up. So I hope you have a really great Christmas, whatever you're doing. I hope it's not too stressful for you. I just hope you have a great day tomorrow and a great week, and we will be on next Sunday, December the 30th at 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully we won't have another freeze up, but we'll see what we'll see. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. See you next week. Bye-bye.